Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Leader Lab. This is Leadership Shorts, quick thoughts to help you level up your leadership. My name is Chad Wright. I'm the founder of Forward Partners, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in podcasting, Emily Grace Deal. Emily Grace Deal, what are we talking about today?
We recently had an internal company meeting where we had to face the fact that we've kind of been violating some of our own agreements.
And by we, you mean me.
Well, I think across the board we kind of all let it happen, but those agreements kind of about how we have decided to commit to new projects and how to work on things. I think we've done an episode about the big shelf of ideas.
We have talked about the big shelf of ideas. We have a historic problem where I come up with new ideas constantly, and they're new and they're exciting, and I want them to be reality tomorrow, and we go down that road, and then it doesn't always go particularly well for us, and we end up burned out in the process. So the idea was you can put infinite amount of ideas on the big shelf, but you can only take down one at a time to work on them. And I think we ended up in this interesting cycle recently where we are busier than we've ever been. Like, we are doing more just regular day-to-day business than ever.
Agreed.
I would conservatively twice as much. Some months it's 3 times as much. It's crazy.
Yes.
And in that process, I had 2-3 different ideas that I think are good ideas.
Agreed.
I'm like, hey guys, what if we did this? Now, part of the agreement is when I do that and I violate the big shelf of ideas, y'all's side is to go, hold on, man, slow down a little bit. And we didn't do that particularly well.
Yeah.
And so what we ended up with was 3 different projects that were like 80% done with. And the realization for me that this was a problem, I was on a trip and sitting there after a really long day of coaching, did some great work, but I was exhausted, and mentally, suddenly those projects just like invaded my brain and were like, oh, by the way, these things are not done yet. You know, my brain's not, it doesn't speak well to me. And so it was like, okay, these are projects that are not done. Nobody's mad at us. Like, nobody even knows they exist. And nobody's really out there going, where's this thing they were talking about, you know? But ultimately, it's taking a mental space.
Right.
And for y'all, it was doing something similar where y'all were struggling with prioritization, right?
Right. If we have enough things on there, it's like, what goes first? Like, what's the most important? And we always end up defaulting to what works with our clients and the people we're working with.
Yeah.
But those other things just chill out there. I will also say that I think you had a lot of ideas, and we only did pick up a few of them. To our credit.
True.
There was a few more mixed in, more than a few, more mixed in, where we're like, okay, good idea. Well, I don't know if we even were saying shelf it for a little while there. We were like, that's great. We can't do it.
Well, and I think realizing for us, like as a small team, our capacity really is one idea at a time. And there's 3 of us working basically full time. We got John over here cranking away halftime for us. And so we got a small team, but really we cannot do that much outside of our normal work.
Right.
And so for us, that capacity is really limited. We have to honor that. And what we ran into through this, and this was on a call with one of my coaches that I kind of came to this realization, and by the way, everybody needs a coach, even coaches need coaches, this realization that we honor commitments to other people, we don't really honor them for ourselves. And I really got to thinking about this idea because I think it's so true that we will die for other people, but we are not going to do even the smallest thing for ourselves.
Right. That's where we figure we can cut some of the effort or the time out.
Yeah, cut the time out. That's what it ran into for us. Like, we have these days set aside for just working on future things, new ideas, right?
We were very proud of ourselves for putting them on the calendar.
And Emily over here bringing the vibes, organizes us, and she did so much work at the beginning of the year. She put every development day on the calendar ahead of time. And the second somebody came along and said, hey, I'd like to buy that day, I'm like, yes, let's sell that day. But instead of taking that development day and moving it somewhere else, we just eliminated it.
Right.
And so we weren't honoring commitments that we had made to ourselves. And anytime you're not honoring commitments, it creates problems. And I got to thinking about this in terms of like just our own leadership health, right? We will sacrifice and do everything for people, but just, taking a day to rest, taking a week to rest, honoring that commitment to ourselves, we really, really struggle with that.
Yeah, agreed.
And I find that throughout our lives. And so it was just this interesting moment of stopping and going, okay, can we commit to actually honoring the time that we say we need? Because for us, when we think about it, there's doing the work, and then those days creating the future. So really what we're doing is creating the future. We're creating new ideas and new projects and new things that are going to serve our clients. But if we never get to that, we're going to look up in 3 or 4 years and we will have done a ton of client work and we'll be doing almost nothing new.
Right.
And I think we could get bored with that really, really fast.
Right, because we just don't realize that we always underestimate what we're committing to ourselves to and not giving ourselves the time to get it done.
That's the other side. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about how when you're estimating time, you should really multiply the time you're estimating times 4. And now you're closer to reality. And that is terrifying.
It's very terrifying.
It's terrifying, but it's so true. And this, like, what's funny is literally that day I had committed us to a full day event that we're doing essentially as a donation to help out some high school kids. It's going to be a great, great thing. But I was like, yeah, we can afford to give away a day. Can we afford to give away 4 days? I don't know. Like, that got really scary really fast when I thought about that.
We also, we just don't think about some of the things that are attached to it. Like, what content will you have to write? What will we be creating? What will we need to be emailing people about? All these things that we just don't think about mixed in.
Yeah. And I think that's where for us, the takeaway from this that I'm really working on is honoring those commitments we make to ourselves. Because really, that commitment is not just to us. It's building the future of Forward Partners, but it's also building the things that we are going to do for people in the future.
Right.
The ways we're going to impact them. And so we're kind of robbing them of that if we don't honor those commitments to us as well. And so I think there's something there to really doing that and prioritizing. We talked about leadership health, prioritize yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you're running an organization, prioritizing your development and your growth in the future as much as you're prioritizing things to outside, whether it's clients or outside commitments, whatever it is.
Well, and this is what we tell clients also. So I think it's one of those things where we just have to kind of look at it and do it for ourselves as well.
That's, again, honor commitments to ourselves.
Yes.
It's so hard to do. But I think there's something there. Leaders, let's talk next steps. I want you to think through your rhythms. Think through the areas that maybe you have set aside time for yourself and you're not necessarily honoring that. Or you have decided you wanted to do something and something else has intruded, and rather than rescheduling, you just put it off or don't do it at all. I think honoring those commitments to yourself is going to really create much, much better outcomes for the future. And so the first step is make commitments to yourself. Set aside time for you. Set aside time for the future that you want to create and really, really hold on to that. And if you need to move it. Be flexible, because I think that lack of flexibility will burn us out faster than anything. Be flexible, but move it. Don't just get rid of it. And I think for most of us, if we can learn to honor those commitments to ourselves, we are going to end up in a much better place. Emily, if people want to send us questions, if they want to have us hold them accountable, send us their commitments they've made to themselves, where do they send that to?
To lab at forwardpartners.
Lab at forwardpartners.net.
Not where you find our socials, which
our socials are at Forward Partners. We've kind of flipped this here.
Partner, no S.
Okay, a little behind the scenes look here for all our listeners, watchers, readers, people that love us. We have changed our rhythm. We now record Leader Lab twice a year. That means we haven't done this in 6 months, and this is the first episode back. So
you're welcome.
So we crashed the plane directly into the tarmac, but you know what? We're getting out. Any crash you can walk away from is a success. We're walking away. Email us lab@forwardpartners.net. Find us on LinkedIn exclusively. At Forward Partner. We are focusing all our social efforts on LinkedIn. We're not too much worried about the other, platforms. We're going to focus on LinkedIn. It's where we see a ton of value, ton of community. So find us at Forward Partner. All right. That's how we end this. Next.
See you next time.
Join us next time right here in the Leader Lab for Leadership Shorts.